Sometimes life just doesn't move as fast as we want it to. We send out applications. We show up for interviews. We fix our resumes again and again. And yet nothing happens. Days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months. And frustration begins to whisper. God, where are you? Don't you see I need this job? Don't you know how much I've prayed for this? But let me tell you something straight from my heart. God's timing is not our timing. His ways are higher. His thoughts are deeper. And his clock does not tick according to ours. Because what you call delay, God calls preparation. There are seasons in life when heaven seems silent. You pray, but it feels like your words bounce off the ceiling. You watch others get promoted. You see friends start businesses, move forward while you stay stuck in the waiting room of life. But here's what I've learned. When God hides you, he's not rejecting you. He's protecting you. When he holds you back, it's not punishment. It's positioning. Because if you step into something too early, even if it looks good, it might crush you instead of bless you. God waits until your faith, your character, and your heart are strong enough to handle what's coming next. Think about a seed. When it's buried deep in the soil, it looks dead, forgotten, unseen. But underground, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming. Strength is building. Life is growing in silence. That delay between planting and blooming? It's not wasted. It's sacred. You may feel buried right now, but you're not buried. You're being planted. God is preparing your roots so that when you rise, no storm, no rejection, no failure can uproot you. I remember a time when I desperately prayed for an opportunity. I thought that one door was the door. I worked, I prepared, I believed. But that door never opened. I was disappointed, angry. But months later, I saw what God was doing all along. He closed that door to lead me towards something far greater. Something I never would have pursued had that first one opened. What I thought was God ignoring me was actually God guiding me. His no wasn't rejection. It was redirection. We live in a culture obsessed with speed. Fast answers, fast success, fast everything. But God is not interested in speed. He's interested in strength. He's not rushing to get you into position. He's shaping your purpose within. The process is what builds you. The waiting season is what builds trust, patience, endurance. The kind of strength that lasts long after titles fade. So if you're in a silent season right now, if the phone isn't ringing, if emails aren't coming, don't mistake silence for absence. God is working behind the scenes, moving people, shifting pieces, aligning timing for your breakthrough. He is never late. When your appointed time comes, the door will open, and you'll see it was never luck. It was divine timing. Sometimes it feels like everyone else is moving ahead. You start to wonder, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe God forgot about me. But hear me, you're not being passed over. You're being prepared. Hiddenness is not abandonment. It's protection. God hides you to strengthen you. He shapes your heart in private, so that when he reveals you in public, you won't fall under pressure. Everyone wants the spotlight, but few want the shaping. They want the platform, but not the preparation. And without preparation, blessing can become a burden. There's a story of an archer pulling back an arrow. The farther he pulls it back, the greater its power when released. That backward tension, that uncomfortable waiting, is what gives the arrow direction and strength. That's what God is doing in your life. You may feel like you're being pulled backward, but he's preparing to launch you farther than you ever dreamed. Don't despise the preparation. The delay is not a denial. It's divine design. One of the hardest parts of losing a job, or not finding one, is the feeling of losing your identity. We live in a world that measures worth by titles, paychecks, and achievements. When someone asks, "What do you do?" we answer with our job title as if that's who we are. But when that title disappears, we start to ask, "Who am I now? Do I still matter?" And God whispers, "Your identity is not in what you do. It's in who you are in me." Before you ever had a job, before you ever had a title, God already knew your name and placed purpose inside of you. Your calling is not dependent on human approval. It's anchored in divine identity. You are not unemployed. You are in development. You're not being replaced. You're being refined. So many people chase paychecks thinking it'll fix everything. But God's plan for your life isn't centered around a paycheck. It's centered around purpose. A job can sustain you. Purpose fulfills you. That's why sometimes you can have the perfect position and still feel empty inside, because you're trying to fill a spiritual calling with worldly success. Maybe God closed that door not to deprive you, but to redirect you toward your real assignment. Maybe he's calling you to influence right where you are. In your home, your community, your kindness, your faith. In God's eyes, success is not about applause. It's about obedience. Now listen. Faith is not sitting still, waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. Faith moves. Faith prepares. Faith acts. Waiting on God doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what you can while trusting Him with what you can't. When Noah built the ark, there was no rain in sight. But he built anyway. When Abraham left his home, there was no map. But he walked anyway. When Peter stepped out of the boat, the waves were raging. But he stepped anyway. That's what faith looks like in action. While worry freezes your hands, faith keeps them working. It's easier for God to steer a moving ship than one anchored in fear. So keep preparing, keep learning, keep serving. Because when God sees movement, He releases momentum. And then, there comes a moment when you've done everything you can. You've prayed, worked, planned, and still nothing moves. That's when God whispers, "Now let go." Surrender is not giving up. It's giving over. It's saying, "God, I trust you more than I trust my timeline." When your hands are clenched around your plans, His hands can't fill them with His promises. The greatest breakthroughs come not through striving, but through surrender. Because when you finally let go, you create room for God to step in. And when He steps in, everything changes. Maybe right now, you're in between hope and heartbreak, between effort and exhaustion. You've tried everything, and nothing seems to work. But this is not the end. It's an invitation to trust, to surrender, to believe that God's delay is not denial. The waiting room is not a waste of time. It's the classroom of preparation. Because when the appointed time comes, the door will open, and you'll realize it wasn't luck. It was divine timing. So keep the faith. Keep moving. Keep trusting. You are not being passed over. You are being prepared. And when God finally says now, everything will fall into place, perfectly, powerfully, and right on time. If this message spoke to your heart today, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who's waiting for their breakthrough. Comment, "I'm trusting God's timing" below, to declare your faith out loud. And remember, when God says wait, it's never wasted. He's preparing you for something greater than you can imagine.